Xingwang, surprised, asked what is she doing at his uncle's house. Wang Ju hesitated to respond and was just staring at him. And then, the cousin, Dekai, showed up and said that he shouldn't stare like at his future sister-in-law. The protagonist understood the situation, went past the two and asked if the uncle is at home, because he wants to pay off his parents' debt. Wang Ju was wondering why Xingwang was that cold towards her and if he still has feelings for her. Dekai interrupted her thoughts by asking why is she staring at that trash, after all, she's going to be his future wife. She answered that she was fascinated by how pathetic he looks. He claims to be living in the big city but he isn't wearing any branded clothes. She then claimed that it's better to live in the countryside, where her future husband can wear Nike and Adidas all the time. He was satisfied to hear those words from his future wife. Xingwang's uncle was playing cards with some of his friends. When the protagonist got closer, the uncle noticed him, and told his friends that the blonde man is his nephew and that he works in the city. One of the friends said that he must earn a lot of money if he works in the city, and the other friend said the daughter of one of the neighbors is working in Hangzhou and earns over 100,000 yuan a month, so if Xingwang went to the university, he must be earning even more. Dekai added that his cousin is indeed very successful, making 5,000 yuan a month, and that their family have old ladies that are employed to feed the pigs for 3,000 yuan a month. He then asked the protagonist how much can he save out of the 5,000. Rent in the city is already expensive, and after that is he left with more than what are they paying to have the pigs fed? Xingwang stated that he is here to repay the debt, not for small talk, completely ignoring Dekai who was laughing. The uncle and his friends were invested in the game, giving little attention to the guest. Then, the uncle said that there is no rush, if the family is struggling there is no reason to hurry, he will charge the interest anyway. The protagonist stated that he is doing well, so there is no reason to be in debt. The uncle continued saying that there is no reason to be polite, he is working hard while taking care of the family and also struggling to live in the city. Xingwang was insistent to pay off the debt. Finally, the uncle agreed to accept the repayment, and stated that he is also accepting installments after telling his son to grab the red book from his cabinet. After grabbing the book, Dekai told the protagonist that he cannot bear seeing his cousin under so much pressure, after all they are family and blood is thicker than water. And the uncle told his friends that his nephew became very proud after graduating from the university and now doesn't want to depend on his family. Why would you want to treat your family like they are strangers? A couple of moments later, Xingwang stated that 51,000 yuan were transferred into his uncle's account, so he should check to make sure that he received them. The old man, after checking his account, was surprised to see that all the money he was owed were transferred, including interest. He then asked his nephew, where did he manage to get the money from? The protagonist answered in a very nonchalant way, that he got those money from working in the big city, and then left. Seeing him leave, Dekai stated that his family is trying to save face at the cost of their suffering. He knows very well that they are dirt poor and that the money that he just paid off could cost them their lives. Xingwang probably emptied all his savings. Wang Ju told her future husband that she will see the protagonist off so she can also clear some misunderstandings with him. He might not be able to accept that she will become his sister-in-law, so she needs to make him understand that they will be relatives so things won't be awkward. Dekai stated that it's good to clear things up, but she should also put him into his place. Outside the house, Wang Ju ran after the protagonist and told him that they are family now and there is no reason to hold on to old feelings and continue acting like they don't know each other. They were childhood friends and grew up together, so she knows that he likes her. Then she also added that she only sees him as a little brother, but soon she will be his sister-in-law so it's best for him to stop thinking of her. The protagonist had no words, and had no idea how to react to what she just said. She continued saying that if people heard about the fact that he is holding on to feelings for his sister-in-law, his reputation will be damaged. Xingwang asked if she's talking about him, because he doesn't remember liking her, also, she should go take a look at herself in the mirror. That statement made Wang Ju's world fall on her head. The woman got angry and asked the protagonist what did he just say to her? With a smug face, Xingwang asked what is she talking about? They were never childhood friends, they only played together a couple of times as kids, and she should stop acting like she's special. He also said that she didn't seem the type to look down on the poor and favor the rich. She seemed hardworking, straightforward and always warm towards others, but now she's no different from the others. She's pretty good at pretending but this has nothing to do with him so whatever. Wang Ju declared that she understands the protagonist, he cannot have her so he is belittling her, getting all upset, but after all she is going to be his sister-in-law, so she needs to be understanding and let the past go, and he should also learn and grow up. Hearing this, the protagonist really didn't know what was going through this girl's head, so he decided to just leave while saying that she is just straight up crazy. But the redhead wasn't having it, she got even more pissed, So she ran in front of him so she could tell him that he thinks that he's someone important just because he's good at studying. He's just a grunt working for someone else and all his education was for nothing. A big joke. She also added that she is indeed looking down on the poor and loves the rich, so what, she will enjoy life in a huge house, with delicious food, alongside Dakai. While Xingwang will be crammed in a tiny room in the city. And also, his mother is in a hospital, and no matter how much money they spend on her treatment, it won't get better. So, he should be grateful that she's even speaking politely with him right now, so he shouldn't push his luck anymore. That got the protagonist angry and asked if she said enough. She is sitting in a well looking at the sky, and grabbing a dead fish thinking that it's Pearl, is showing it off everywhere. He then added that not everyone is dying to be with her, even toads aren't as self-absorbed as her. She pointed her finger at him in anger, but had no comeback for that. The protagonist said that he doesn't have much money and is not as capable as her boyfriend, but he works hard, he's diligent, respects his parents and doesn't look down on the poor while worshipping the rich. And he can take care of himself. He always considered that he's a good person and definitely better than people like her who only focus on their small plot of land. He then told her to stop acting like a lunatic and to look in the mirror and get a reality check. That triggered a notification. The host was awarded a soon-to-be-developed apartment in Bu Town for cutting ties with a toxic person. Xingwang wasn't happy to receive an apartment that wasn't even built, an empty promise. He then grabbed Wang Ju's finger and pointed it towards her and said that her and Dakai should lock themselves together so they won't harm any more people, and then said goodbye. Sometime later, Xingwang was walking alongside of the road. Then a car sped up beside him and threw dirt all over his clothes. The car then stopped. At the wheel it was Dakai, who said that he is in a rush to get to the construction site, and didn't see the protagonist on the side of the road. He also said that he is a foreman at the city construction bureau, so he is in charge of the road construction and is really busy right now. He said that if his cousin is looking for work, he can make him carry bricks, because families should look after each other. He then left. Xingwang realized that the roads are in such a state because talented people like Dakai are in charge of construction. So now it's time to serve some justice to the people. At the city construction bureau of the Bisha town, a supervisor was telling Xingwang to feel free to come back for a tea anytime he wants. The young man agreed and thanked for the offer and then left. A new notification was triggered. The host was awarded 100 property deeds for spreading his wealth. The protagonist was surprised to see the amount of property deeds he received. Seeing that reaction, the system thought that it didn't offer enough, and then said that the reward is based on the actions of the young man. Xingwang immediately said that he isn't blaming the system for anything, everything is alright. And then said to himself that the system is becoming weirder and weirder and he gets a feeling that the entire world will be owed by him. At the hospital, the protagonist was giving his mother an apple. She was happy to receive a peeled apple from her son. Then, a moment later, a doctor entered the room and informed that the surgery was a success and they arranged for the woman to be discharged today. Xingwang protested that his mother had the surgery only yesterday and now she is still in the recovery observation period, that's why they shouldn't proceed with the discharge yet. He also said that they will pay for the fees in time and he also wants to arrange a comprehensive examination for her. The doctor coldly said that he already processed the discharge. And then told the nurses to help the patient pack her things. Visibly getting more pissed, the protagonist asked what does he mean with this. At the same time, the mother didn't want him to make a big fuss out of this situation. The doctor, also getting annoyed, stated that he means exactly what he said. What is so hard to comprehend? The patient is feeling better so she should hurry up and make room for others, because right now they are using medical resources unnecessarily. Do they like the hospital that much that they want to die here? Xingwang banged the peeling knife on the cabinet, startling the doctor, who then screamed that the young man is looking for trouble and then threatened to call security if he doesn't drop the knife. The mother, worried, said that they should go home because there is no reason to spend more money and she already feels better. Also the doctor said that there is no problem and after all lying down is lying down, no matter where they are, at home or at the hospital. The protagonist told his mother to be careful because she just had surgery and her wound hasn't healed yet. The doctor said that the mother understands, so the son should be good and listen to his mother. Then, he turned towards the nurses and told them to clean well and don't leave any trace of poverty or bad luck. The doctor left but the protagonist could barely hold himself from doing something regrettable. He then told his mother to eat the apple he peeled for her and wait for the father to pick her up because he has something to do. She told him to not fight with the doctors because common folk cannot win against them. Xingwang told her to not worry because he won't use force. A bit later, in the doctor's office, Dr. Li was talking on the phone and saying that he arranged everything so the friend's wife of the other person on the call can move into the hospital room right away. He then added that a sprained ankle should be taken seriously because it takes 100 days for tendons and bones to heal. The other person on the call, Dakai, praised the doctor for working this fast. Dr. Li answered that he had to be quick because Hang Xingwang is a poor person and his family is eating away at the hospital's resources. His father already delayed the payment of medical bills for more than half a month, and without the generosity of Dakai's family, the hospital would have never been able to cover the costs. Dakai thanked the doctor and left everything for him to handle, and then proposed to have dinner together at a later time. And after ending the phone call, declared that on his turf, Xingwang will play by his rules. The doctor was really happy after ending the call. He liked serving the rich families of the town. The protagonist heard everything and figured out that the doctor is corrupt, so he decided to fight with money. He is an expert at making things from impossible to possible using money, so let's see again how the world revolves around money. The next destination, the hospital's director office. Xingwang knocked on the door, and the director invited him in. After entering, the old man asked who is he. The protagonist answered that he is just an ordinary patient. The director said that if the young man is feeling sick, he should go to the registration desk because he doesn't consult patients in his office. Xingwang stated that he wants to talk about donating a building to the hospital, and the director, barely paying attention, answered that if the man has no issues, to go at the front desk because he is busy. He then realized what the protagonist actually said and asked if he heard that right. He then asked if the young man knows how much it costs to donate a building, thinking that the person in his office looks ordinary, his clothes are not even worth 200 yuan. He might be joking. Xingwang answered that he knows, he already looked into it and won't be a problem, and asked to start the process, while thinking that constructing a small building in a county town costs only about 1 million yuan, which is nothing for him at the moment. It's a small price to pay for the benefit of the people and to also solve his problem. The protagonist continued saying that he understands the fact that the hospital ward is overcrowded and that it frequently happens to not have enough rooms available, and that's why he decided to donate a building. There are 2 reasons why Xingwang wants to donate the building. First, because he wants to make things more convenient for the patients, and second, because he wants the director to investigate if there are cases of corruption in the hospital. Director Liu answered that he knows that there were complaints about the lack of beds, but there is no need for baseless suspicions. The protagonist said that he knows that the director cannot do much about the lack of beds, but he knows for a fact that there are people taking dirty money and giving scarce beds to special connections and harming ordinary patients in the process. The old man got up and declared that he's been in the hospital management for 10 years and the doctors in this hospital don't take bribes or gifts. This is something forbidden. Xingwang also got up and said that his mother had a major surgery yesterday and is still under observation, and today the attending physician is forcing her to be discharged in order to make room for incoming patients. But, the next patient only has a sprained ankle which only needs basic treatment at home. Director Liu stated that this is all made up. Even if the hospital ward is crowded, they don't discharge the patient immediately after a major surgery. The hospital has clear procedures that forbid this type of practice. Even if the patient asks for an early discharge, they are required to sign a liability waiver. Getting angry, the director said that the young man should at least make the story believable if he's going to lie. The protagonist told the old man to not get upset and to listen to this recording. The director accepted and started to listen. It was the phone conversation Dr. Liu had with Dakai. After listening, the director asked how can he be sure that it's not fake or edited. While trying to figure out if the old man is naive or deliberately covering up the corruption, Xingwang stated that even if the recording is fake, the building he wants to donate is real. He then called Mr. Kang, the engineer from the City Construction Unit 1, and stated that he wants to fund a new building for the county hospital, and asked if they have time to take on the project. Then asked the engineer if he can come at the hospital so they can all discuss the details. The director believed that it's all an act and was curious to see where we'll all end up too. The protagonist said that the director might not believe that he wants to actually get this building constructed and asked Mr. Kang to talk with him. Then offered the phone to the older man saying that it won't take more than a couple of moments, so he shouldn't let a couple of minutes of stubbornness cost him an entire building. The director grabbed the phone and presented himself as Director Liu from the county hospital. The other man on the call said that they are very lucky to get a free building just like that, and the old man realized that he is actually speaking with Engineer Kang. He then said that they are indeed lucky and ended the conversation, realizing that the young man in front of him is actually rich, keeping a low profile. A little time later, Xingwang asked the director if he believes him now, and he is also waiting for an answer about the recording. If he can donate a building, why would he fake a recording? Director Liu answered that the recording alone isn't sufficient evidence. The protagonist asked if 2 buildings are enough if one isn't, surprising the older man. Xingwang got up and stated that he only has one request. for the careless doctor to be punished, and for the director to start an investigation so corruption can be eliminated from the hospital, giving fair opportunities for the ordinary patients. Director Liu accepted the request and then asked for the name of the generous young man. Xingwang answered that he is an ordinary kid from a farming family, simply doing what is right for everyone. His name is not important, but if they need to use one, they can simply write Messenger of Justice. He then left. A second later, the director picked up the phone and called to have all the recent discharge documents brought up to him. He wants to see which patient was discharged right after surgery. In another part of the hospital, a nurse informed Dr. Li that the director wants to see him. A few seconds later, the doctor was on his knees begging the director to not fire him because he has elderly parents and young children to support. Director Liu said that the patients also have elderly parents and children to support, and his behavior affected all of them. A doctor like him without ethics is not welcomed in this hospital anymore. The next day at Hang Dakai's house, Wang Ju was saying that her future husband's career is on the rise and then asked if they will be able to buy a house in the city soon. He answered that of course they will. Someone entered his home and asked for him. The uninvited guest stated that Dakai said to have a connection at the hospital and even bribed a doctor, but how come that his wife was asked to pack her things and leave? His wife's injury worsened after going through this humiliation and now won't even let him into their bedroom. Dakai jumped out of the small basin, surprised by what the guest was saying. Dakai stated that the people at the hospital might have misunderstood the situation, so he will call to clear everything out. He called Dr. Li in order to see what happened, but the call didn't went through, receiving a notification that the number is not currently available. In the courtyard of the Hang family, a lot of stuff was being brought in. The mother said that hiring a caretaker and buying all this stuff must be very expensive. Her son answered that everything is being arranged by the hospital so they won't need to spend any money. Dr. Li was fired for malpractice, so the hospital is trying to compensate them. They will take everything back after the mother will fully recover, so there is no need to worry. The mother said that now she understands, while Xingwang was thinking that doing good deeds without seeking recognition feels kind of good. Then, their peace was disturbed by Dakai screaming if the protagonist is the culprit. He also said that he got his brother a bed in the hospital by paying more than 10,000 yuan and all was for nothing. The mother asked what is he talking about, and Xingwang was happy to see that Dakai just recognized his wrongdoing just like fool, and then said that he was wondering why his mother who just had surgery had to leave. It was all arranged by his cousin. His dear relative spent over 10,000 yuan just to kick his mother out of the hospital. With a sheepish attitude, Dakai said that he doesn't know anything about that. Isn't it normal to be discharged after you feel better? He then changed his attitude and accused the protagonist of pulling strings behind the scenes, otherwise the hospital wouldn't have arranged for a personal caretaker. Xingwang answered that this is compensation for the fact that they were affected by the corruption in the hospital. Dakai said that all of that is bullshit, the one that needs compensation is him. He spent a really long time alongside his brother to build connections. Only he knows how many packs of Wadza cigarettes he's given as gifts, as well as money he's spent. He's suffered a lot of serious losses because of the actions of his cousin, so he should compensate him. Xingwang said that nothing that he said makes sense. After all, his cousin is a high-income earner, a big boss that makes loads of money, so why would he extort a poor guy like him? He should seriously ask himself how the protagonist who makes less than 5,000 yuan a month, who lives in a cheap rent in the city, who doesn't make even as much money as his family's pigs, is able to have the power to make the big boss Dakai fall so hard. The spoiled brat was struggling to come with a comeback. The protagonist turned around and left, saying that karma will eventually catch up with you if you're only doing bad things. Some people use dirty money so much that they think everything in the world can be solved with money. Dakai was left thinking that his cousin is all just talk. There is no way for him to have any influence in this town or any other place. It was just a case of luck. He shouldn't have come here. It was a bad decision made out of desperation. He then said that Xingwang will die poor and left. Seeing him leave, the protagonist was thinking that his cousin is a dumb and evil kid. Then, he told his mom to continue their walk. The mother asked if Dakai won't retaliate, because he looked mad, and her son answered that he is curious how will that brat try to get revenge. Dakai passed by another car, and thought that at the wheel was Manager Kang, but he is probably mistaken because there is no reason for the manager to be in this remote area. In front of Xingwang's parents' house there was the same car from earlier. Manager Kang came out of it, thanking the protagonist and informing him about the road and building construction. Xingwang panicked and said that Mr. Kang's car broke down, so he helped out a bit, and now he is being extra generous. Manager Kang immediately understood that the protagonist is hiding the fact that he's rich from his parents, and said that yes, is only right to repay someone who helped him, and that's why, he will also help repair the road in front of their house. Xingwang then took Mr. Kang and told his mom that he has something to give to their guest, so he will go ahead. The protagonist whispered that he is keeping a low profile and doesn't want anyone to know about what he's doing, including his family. The manger said that he understands, is very nice of him to do good things without leaving a name. Then, he said that what was asked of him was already handled, and Xingwang praised him for working so efficiently. Dekai, while driving, called Mr. Zhao, who answered and said that he isn't needed anymore to take care of the road repairs. Hearing this, the spoiled brat went into shock and forcefully pressed on the brakes, bringing the car to a full stop. He then asked why is this happening, because everything was agreed on beforehand. He already scheduled the workers and now he is in a those spot because he already paid their wages. Mr. Zhao answered that there are new regulations put in place for the construction sector, and Dekai's team didn't pass the review, which put everyone in a tough spot. Also, right now he is very busy and has no time to explain more. The call ended and Dekai was left staring blankly into nothing. His world came crushing down onto his own head. Mr. Zhao, after ending the call, was thinking that he had no choice, since the brat offended manager Kang. Thank you for watching the third part of the series The Ultimate Wantless Godly Rich System. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video. Also, please leave a comment to let me know your opinion about this series. Thank you and goodbye.